Welcome to Sitcom Showdown, a podcast that reviews classic sitcom episodes and inducts them into our very own Hall of Fame. As usual, one of us has chosen a sitcom episode and the other guy has no idea what it's going to be. Will they already know it? Will they love it? Can they be convinced that it's worthy? Let's find out on the Sitcom Showdown.
Welcome back, listeners, to Sitcom Showdown.
Oh, you want me to say something?
No,
Hello!
no, I was half expecting it.
Okay.
I'm Steve, and I've got Jeff here with me.
Hi.
I'm all settled in. I've had my cup of tea. It's been an interesting night.
Yeah?
Had a few ups and downs, mostly downs.
There was a mix-up with the DVD.
There was a mix-up. But my daughter came to the rescue. This is one of the benefits of having a grown-up daughter with a driver's license.
Yeah.
She can run around doing stuff for you.
And start finally paying back all those favours.
Yeah, that's it. Time to call a favour in.
Yeah.
So, Jeff, my selection. I'm flying the Aussie flag.
Oh,
tonight.
This is unprecedented.
Tonight we're looking at an episode of a sitcom called Utopia.
Oh, current, up to the minute stuff.
This is an episode that was only on about a month ago.
Really?
For the first time in Australia. However, I should say that this sitcom may also be known by those of you in the USA and the UK as Dreamland.
Right.
And if you have Netflix, in those countries you can watch it.
That's amazing.
Well, I don't know about this third series that's just been aired in Australia, but yeah.
I'm shocked
Really?
that they're managing to successfully export Australian comedy.
Yeah, well.
Wow.
And this leads me to have a bit of a whinge because I had to go and buy the DVD for this. In Australia, of an Australian sitcom, and people in the US and the UK can watch it on Netflix.
And you've got your
And
Netflix.
I've finally got my Netflix and I can't watch it.
That seems strange.
What's with that?
Oh. Can I ask a question, Steve?
Yes, but don't expect an answer.
Right. So you bought the DVD, but could you not just go onto ABC iView and watch it again anytime you
No,
want?
they
anyway?
whipped it off.
No way.
Yeah.
This is a sorry state of affairs. As a taxpayer who paid for their comedy, and then you're saying, take my money, and they won't even take your money.
Well, I justified it by saying to myself, I'm supporting Australian comedy.
Twice.
Twice?
Yeah, your
How
taxpayer dollars, and then you
yes.
spring for the DVD.
No.
You hear that, Rob Sitch?
You're making my blood boil.
You legalised vampire. That's a callback to last week's episode. No, we love Rob Sitch and the rest of the team. Well, I do. I won't speak for you.
They've got their snouts in the trough, which is the title of this episode, Snouts in the Trough. So, like I said before, it's season 3, episode 6. It's a mockumentary. Is this the second mockumentary we've covered?
We covered The Office US.
The Office US. I think that's the only one. This is also set in an office. It's the offices of Australia's Nation Building Authority, or the NBA for short. The boss, Tony, and Nat, who is his right-hand person, try to implement game-changing infrastructure projects, but are generally hamstrung by Jim, their political liaison, Rhonda, the marketing guru, and basically the rest of the staff. A new fad sweeps the office each episode, generally preventing work from getting done and any projects completed.
Oh.
And I think what you see is the other people get caught up in whatever this new thing happens to be, and generally gets them sidelined or sidetracked.
Oh, okay.
They can't see the bigger picture anymore, which generally drives Tony to distraction.
Oh.
This was produced by Working Dog Productions, who are well known in Australia for having produced other things like the sitcoms Frontline,
Yep.
The Hollow Men, and Funky Squad.
Oh, Funky Squad. Which at the
Is
time...
that an eye roll, or...?
Yeah, it was an eye roll. At the time, I thought, this is so cool. And then, years later, you just think, this is absolutely terrible. And I mean, I think it was supposed to be terrible. But yeah, I mean, you mentioned Frontline. That's a candidate
That's
for sitcom show.
high quality. The Hollow Men, I really enjoyed that one as well. That was more political. Frontline and The Hollow Men were both mockumentaries as well.
I'd argue Frontline was way ahead of its time as a mockumentary. I'm not sure of any other documentaries that had even been done in the mid-90s.
Yep.
It's way ahead of The Office. It's way ahead of lots of other things. Anyway, that's another...
Yeah, so this Utopia follows in a strong line of sitcom productions from Working Dog. They've also done some movies, The Dish and The Castle. The Castle is very well known in Australia. Classic. It's written by Rob Sitch, Santo Calaro and Tom Gleisner. And Rob also stars as Tony and directs.
Really?
Yeah, he's all over it.
Holy moly.
Good job. There's an ensemble cast. It's another one of those office mockumentaries with a rather large cast. I won't go into all of them for the sake of time, but I wanted to mention Nat, who's played by Celia. Can you read that, Jeff?
Celia Piccola.
Oh, you know how to say it.
No, I didn't read it. It's just that she does a lot of work also in the UK on the comedy circuit there.
Right.
And a lot of the podcasts I listen to will have her on.
Yeah, she's another multi-talented person.
Yep.
And she was in another sitcom called Rosehaven, which was set in Tassie. Personal background to watching it. I've watched it on TV and I've got now a couple of DVDs.
Right.
What about you?
I'd never watched it until you were speaking about it quite recently. So
wow.
About 3 weeks ago, I went back and watched a few on ABC iView.
No way. I just assumed that you'd watched the whole lot.
Well, I'm not a big one for political mockumentaries, so I've only ever watched one episode of The Thick of It.
Right.
I'm not really interested in Veep, and so just, these shows wind me up.
They wind you up?
Have we got anything else to discuss before we go and watch it?
No, that's it.
All right, well, let's go.
Okay.
We're building a strong, prosperous Australia.
It is a massive project.
A new era of forward thinking.
We have a national to-do list.
Infrastructure projects, an incredible, transformative.
We're spending more than any government has ever spent.
An extraordinary figure. $10 billion.
Do you have a Ronda here? Shall I put your banh mi in the fridge?
Depends what it is.
A pulled pork Vietnamese roll.
I said sandwich.
I found a place, but they need 24 hours notice.
What? Yeah, come in.
How'd your meeting go? Fireworks?
No, they all seem quite happy.
Great.
Yeah, and I think I've worked out why.
Because we're getting the job done?
Because we're getting screwed.
What?
They're all in this together.
What are you talking about?
Everyone's making ridiculous money off projects like this. Not just the consortium and the unions. It's consultants and lawyers and financiers. Then they dump the cost back on us.
Who's us?
Us, taxpayers.
It's gone rogue.
Take Transway.
Lucky to have them on board.
They've allowed for double the inflation rate, triple the financing costs.
Got to make a dollar.
Then there's the unions.
Well, here's your problem.
Every contractor on this project will make triple the industry average.
As long as it gets the job
2
done.
years later than it should be done. There's no incentive to make it cheaper or faster. In fact, the longer it takes, the more money they make.
So it's a win-win.
No, it's a win-win-lose.
Who's the lose?
Taxpayer.
I don't see their signature on the contract.
No, it's on the cheque.
All right, we're back. We've got our snouts out of the trough. Let's talk about what happened in that episode, Jeff.
Okay.
Good one, Kat. Okay, so I found this one to be another one of those tricky ones where there's lots of scenes cutting backwards and forwards, so I thought I'd deal with it in... there's 3 storylines, so I thought I'd deal first with the 2 minor ones and then hit the major one. The 2 smaller ones out of the way. So the first one I wanted to talk about was the sandwich storyline, which I thought was pretty hilarious. All Tony wants for lunch is a good old-fashioned retro sandwich, as Katie calls it. A retro sandwich. She can't find one anywhere in the Melbourne CBD. Seems unlikely, but that's the way things are these days. So he ends up with all sorts of tasty, trendy, multicultural treats that miss the mark until Bert opens his Tupperware lunch container and he's got a homemade corned beef sandwich in it, cut into quarters.
Unheard of.
Unheard of. But it's just the thing he wanted.
Exactly.
More about Bert soon.
I reckon a lot of the best lines come from the sandwich subplot.
Yeah, from the sandwich storyline.
Oh, man.
That's why I put it front and centre.
Yeah.
The second one is Nat's project, and she's working on a pipeline duplication. She's doing her team is trying to deal with the land acquisition for that. But all anyone wants to do is tweet about the proposal, because apparently she unwittingly said during some meeting with the comms team that she was going to be tweeting about the things that they're doing.
Oh.
Which is not the kind of thing she normally likes to do, but she apparently volunteered herself to...
Yeah, she nodded.
Agreed to do it. She nodded absent-mindedly or something like that. And so their first effort is... this is their first effort. Rail dupe ranked high P. Hashtag smashing it. Hashtag hectic. Which tells you absolutely nothing and just drives her batty because she's obviously someone for clarity and details and giving people the correct information, and this just does nothing.
And doesn't she say, what does that actually mean? And they said, I don't know, but
it's retweetable.
Yeah.
So it's meeting that criteria. Anyway, Next thing you know, someone's flown down, presumably from Sydney,
Right.
to have a meeting about this tweet, or the tweet situation. And sure enough, when that person materialises, it's a room. I think I counted 7 people in this meeting about the tweet. So they end up coming up with a tweet, and it says something along the lines of, "Who will build Australia's future? This minister won't stop until da-da-da-da-da." But, of course, when Nat actually sends it, she's not paying attention to what's going on at all the 140-character limit. Yeah. So it goes out saying, "Who will build Australia's future? This minister won't."
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
No, very believable, really.
But it got retweets.
Yeah.
She had 50 follows.
It would have drawn attention to the project.
Yeah. Frankly, they don't really care much about...
No.
Most of them don't care about much more than retweets and things like that.
Whether they can justify their jobs as media people.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. 7 people, several of which are flown in to have...
Simmer down. I can tell you're getting worked up over that. So the big one.
Yeah.
Tony's in the storeroom looking for something. In fact, it's there's compactus. A compactus?
Yeah.
Compacti.
A compactus?
But the lights go out on him automatically because they're on a timer due to cost-saving measures.
Yes.
And I'm emphasising cost-saving measures. Katie comes into the storeroom to tell Tony about their involvement in the government's Second Start program, which is creating job placements for seniors.
Okay.
I think he's a bit sceptical about this.
Who are we going to be lumbered with?
Yeah, oh man, I'm going to have to babysit some person, and it's just going to be a nightmare, all for the sake of some program.
Yeah.
That afternoon, Jim and Rhonda come into Tony's office, and they're asking him for the NBA's help in getting the cost of the Melbourne Airport rail link approved. Mm-hmm. Its nickname is the Airlink.
Okay, so it's this massive, supermassive project.
Yeah, so it's going from Melbourne CBD to Tullamarine Airport.
Aha. And sorry, can you clarify who Jim and Rhonda are again? I can picture them.
Yes, Jim is the political liaison.
Oh, so he talks to the minister and then talks to them.
Yeah, runs off to the minister and the PM, then comes back and liaises with Tony.
I get you.
Tells them what the go is, and then Rhonda is the media person. Now, note at this point that the price tag on this project is $3.5 million.
Billion.
Okay, it's already going up. It's gone from 3.5 million to 3.5 billion.
It went up 1,000% real quick this year.
All right, we're going to track that number.
Okay,
so Bert, the NBA's Second Start placement arrives, promptly asks Nat if she wants a cup of tea and a bicky.
Yeah.
Calls her love.
I'll get them for you, love.
Yeah, she's loving it. Tony and Scotty have the first of 3 meetings about this Airlink project. And the first one is with the consortium, the top end of town, who, everyone's a bit worried they're going to be losing money on this project. But they're ushered into the office, which appears to be on something like the 25th floor
overlooking
of this CBD office, which has this just amazing view over Docklands or something like that. Who knows? And as they sit down, they're asked if they want coffee, and they've got an in-house barista in their office. So
So they're obviously not hurting for money.
They're doing it tough, Jeff. Yeah. They're doing it tough. And the guy from the consortium that they're meeting with, he preempts the discussion by saying that, I don't know if we're going to be able to cut costs because we've already cut things to the bone. And on the way out of that meeting, the guy from the consortium says, if you really want to solve this cost blowout, you need to talk to the unions because they're the real problem.
Yeah, they're killing us.
So what do? They go on the next meeting. The second meeting's lined up with the union. And they're meeting them on site in some transportables. A couple of the things they talk about. Tony wants to know about this 36-hour week that they work. But they're getting paid for 56 in this contract. What's with that? He also mentions or questions a $120 daily travel allowance. And they're in this project's in the city, right? So
yeah, exactly.
Why do they need a travel allowance when it's in the city?
They live in the city.
And for days when they're not working.
Yeah. How many of those are there? 42. 38 in the new agreement or something like that. So $120. But
it's hard working on site.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate that. And as the union guy is saying how hard it is working on site, you can hear that in the background of someone making coffee on this deluxe coffee machine.
Oh.
And then on the way out of this meeting, they're saying goodbye on the outside of the site. And as they're saying goodbye, a guy pulls up behind the union rep.
Yeah.
And you see his four-wheel drive. I don't know what kind of a fancy
That's
four-wheel
probably a
drive.
brand new Colorado or something like that. Man.
Something
Who
like
knows?
that. Saying, all right, see you, Jim. See you Monday. He goes, oh, no, I won't see you.
No, RDO, I'll see you on
I've got an RDO.
Tuesday.
And then the four-wheel drive moves forward. That's this
It's towing this
ridiculous boat.
beautiful boat. It is,
Things are tough.
yeah.
Things are tough. working
And
on
the classic one, I don't know if you were going to bring it up.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, okay, cool.
The next meeting's with the lawyers.
Yeah.
Do you get the impression that they're in-house government lawyers or a firm of private lawyers that?
I wouldn't be able to say.
But when they're asked a direct question about whether the government can get out of this draft contract, they
in
just
a legal way.
completely evade answering this question
They totally do.
and start saying
It's
things
like they don't even grasp the question.
Yeah, they can't fathom where it's coming from. They're obviously concerned that this, or for some reason they're concerned that this contract could possibly get cancelled.
And it should go ahead at all costs.
Should go ahead at all costs. And then we also find out the engineering consultants think that the project should proceed.
They do.
And Tony says that's because they're not paying for it. And he's come to the conclusion that costs have blown out so badly, it's now at 4.6 billion.
I think you've got an old copy of the forecast there, Steve.
Yep. It's at 4.6 now. He thinks the project should be shelved. And he meets with Jim and Rhonda to insist that it should be shelved, but they say, no way, it's so popular. This ad that we've put together and shown the focus groups, they love it. We've got to push ahead with it. They're not worried about the cost at all.
No.
So Jim, to placate Tony, says, oh, look, I might try and organise a meeting to see if there's any way we can cut costs. So this meeting, which seems to happen without Tony knowing that it's going to happen.
Yeah, they're there. We've got some people here to see you, Tony.
Yeah, they kind of appear in the office. And he's naturally worried that they're going to be tearing each other's throats out because the consortium's been telling him how the unions are
Screwing them
on the costs, and then the unions say that it's the top end of town, it's their fault.
Yeah.
And he figures that if they're in the room together without him, there's going to be a huge shouting match or something like that going on. But when he comes in, they're being perfectly lovely to each other and
super polite.
After
you.
Yeah, I know, after you. That sort of thing. Anyway, they're making suggestions about ways they could possibly cut the cost. And they're concerned that the other person might be cutting themselves too close to the bone.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know. Is that
Well,
all right?
it's nice of you to make an offer to cut that, but, you've got to look after your members.
Yeah, that's right. So the unions offer to reduce the weekend penalty rates. The consortium offers to reduce the contingency. And, the union guy says, don't cut yourself too short. And Tony says, but it's only half of 1% what they're offering. Come on.
Oh.
Anyway, Tony's convinced by this meeting that they're all in it together, and he's not wrong. Anyway, at this point we come back to Bert. Turns out that Bert previously spent 35 years in the Public Works Department.
Hey!
And he seems to have been a quantity surveyor? The kind of person that basically casts their eye over these projects to...
I'm not entirely sure.
Work out what they would cost, something like that. Anyway, so armed with a pencil and a sliding scale, which no one really knows what it is.
He's using pencils.
He's sharpening his pencils.
Yeah.
Bert goes through the construction budget for the project, and he tells Tony it can be done for $2 billion.
Yeah. Less than half of the current...
Yeah. And less if they created their own in-house works department who would project manage it. And he says it could be done in 2 years. And Tony's
surely not.
Naturally pretty excited about this, so he tells Jim and Rhonda that they can do it for $2 billion, they can do it for in 2 years, and all this sort of stuff. And Rhonda's just not impressed, particularly by Bert's use of pencils.
Yeah.
And Jim borrows Bert's calculations after asking if anyone has a second copy or if there's any other copies floating around. By borrowing, it's obvious that he's intending to throw it into the nearest incinerator.
When Tony points out that, this is going to save the taxpayers billions upon billions, they just said, he's gone rogue, or he's gone native, or something like that.
He's gone rogue. Anyway, Jim and Rhonda go away, have a chat to the PM, and they come back, and apparently the PM's not impressed by this proposal of Tony's, but they have had a talk to the parties, and they think they can do it for a click over $5 billion.
Oh,
it's good news, Jeff. Click over $5 billion. Of course,
Tony says, how much is a click?
How much is a click? 6.2.
So it was originally, 3.5 or something?
3.5. And we're now at 6.2. So it's strange that Tony's going through he's actually negotiating them to cut costs, but then somehow behind the scenes the costs just continue to go up.
It's insane.
And then in the last scene of the show, back in the storeroom, Tony's looking for manila folders with some kind of a binding thing. He says to Katie, Bert will know where they are. But Katie sadly has to announce to Tony that funding for the Second Start program was cut in the budget.
And Bert won't be coming in anymore.
I should have mentioned that the budget was handed down the night before.
Oh, yes, the federal budget. Right.
So Bert's not coming in. Second Start's been cut. And Tony, did you hear about the budget announcement?
For the Airlink?
For the Airlink.
No.
$7 billion it was approved for. And what happens next? That's right. Due to budget cuts, the timer goes...
The light
timer on the light goes off.
In the storage
he's
room.
left in darkness. You're all right? You hanging in there?
Yeah. Oh, man. Okie dokie.
What have you got?
Well, look, it's my overall comment is that it's, the way they mix the small with the big is just awesome. With the everyday stuff like a cup of tea and a biscuit and a sandwich, and the tremendous trouble that he has just trying to get a sandwich. And then they finally find a place that'll do a sandwich, and but they need 24 hours notice. And then later on he gets his sandwich, but it's stacked about 6 decks tall. And then they bring him the other version of the sandwich where they've grated the bread into slivers that are mixed in with the stuff. Yeah. And it's the beautiful
deconstructed sandwich.
It's the beautiful comic relief you need after banging your head against the table, watching these negotiations going on. And they're all incredibly well observed and everything.
But you could get... the click of your fingers, you could get any one of 300
dishes,
different types of variations
on cultural dishes from wherever you like.
Yeah,
if you go, I fancy some Turkish food today, and then you got a million menu options,
and
but
they
then
deliver.
if you want a sandwich, no chance. Yeah.
Let's launch into it. I don't particularly like Aussie comedies, which I don't know. It seems to be going back for a fair while now. Make Aussies out to be, or get laughed by making Aussies out to be backwards, over the top eccentrics. You know the kind of thing I mean?
I do know the type of thing you mean. Yep.
In movies, but also TV shows.
Yeah.
But no, one thing I like about Utopia is they're just normal, down-to-earth people.
Mm-hmm.
And the characters are normal. They're not ridiculous, and the cast is not particularly good looking or anything like that.
No, they're normal people.
They're normal people, again. So I like all of that. There's no laugh track.
Mm-hmm.
There's not even the looks to camera that you get in The Office.
You don't have time for looks to camera. That takes up valuable seconds that they need to go bang, bang, bang between scenes. But no, you're right. I hadn't noticed that, and now that you mention it, it's a good point.
You don't get any of those cutaway interview or confessional type of things that you'll sometimes get at the end of a scene in The Office where they take one of the characters out and have a little...
That's another solid point. I hadn't thought of that.
Get their take on what's just happened. So you don't get any of that. And
so there's no acknowledgement of the camera crews.
No.
And in fact, you don't get the swinging of a camera as, it might quickly swing across to one person and swing across to another person. All the shots are...
Is it even a mockumentary?
Yeah, this is what I'm beginning to wonder now.
I'm confused.
Either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's very fast paced. The gags are packed in there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to pay attention because nothing's signalled with laugh track or you have to pay attention to what's going on.
You're absolutely right.
So, like the example in the consortium office, you've got to put together the fact that the guy is making these cries of poverty together with the fact that you're seeing their office window and you're looking out on this amazing view and you're getting the in-house barista and they're ordering out for tapas and all this sort of crazy stuff. So you've got to put those things together to get the joke.
Yeah.
So there's this subtle level of humour that's going on all the way through it.
And that'll probably reward rewatching quite a bit, I would have thought.
Yeah.
There'll be all sorts of stuff we don't pick up.
And they brilliantly wove in to emphasise again how posh and well off this consortium is. He says about getting some lunch, and Tony, this is again the sandwich. They're weaving the sandwich plot line in with this one. Tony says, I just want to, that'd be great, I'll just have a sandwich. He says, no, I can order tapas though. Whips out the tapas menu.
Oh.
Yeah. So I love the book ending on either end of the show, which is the gag about the NBA has to go through this cost-cutting exercise.
Yeah.
Where the light's on a timer. So they essentially can't get their work done because they're dealing with this sort of cost-cutting measures with the lights. But everyone else is prepared to squander billions of taxpayers' dollars on this project.
Yeah.
You know, Bert can save them.
At the end of the day, what were the figures? If he can do it for $2 billion, and the final cost was...
So Bert can save them $5 billion on this project.
Oh my goodness.
But for the cost of his placement in the Second Start program, which would be negligible.
Exactly.
They lose Bert.
Yeah. And no one wants to hear any of these fantastic suggestions and solutions that would absolutely get things done better and cheaper.
Yeah.
But no.
Yeah. And then this leads us on to the big gag, which is Tony fighting to save the taxpayers' dollars. You know, he's got the means of doing it, but just no one's interested. They think to themselves, $7 billion is a much more impressive announcement than 3.5.
Exactly.
Even things like that.
Look how much more they're getting done.
Yeah, that's right.
It's got to be more getting done because it's twice as much money.
That's right.
And twice as much time.
Even though you could do it for $2.
It boggles the mind.
Yeah. So Bert, T, Vicky's, calling people love.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic.
Oh, it's brilliant. And just the way when they talk about him, you know, it's like, oh, I think he's pretty old. He opened a door for me. And then he knows where North is.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic scene. Oh,
without having an app for it.
Yeah, exactly. Or using the orientation menu.
So do you think you have to be old to appreciate the humour in that? Or
I reckon so. Yes. Well, no, okay. It plays to you if you're old, and that plays to you, making you look wise and cool.
The conversation with the union guy, they're outside saying goodbye to him, and they're talking about the average wage that a worker on Airlink is going to be getting, and they're pointing to a guy who's doing the traffic management.
Yeah, with the stop sign.
He's doing the typical turning the sign, stop, go. What's Tony say? Something that he's
querying. But he'll be on 120,000.
He'll be on 120 grand.
He goes, well, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Yeah, what price do you put on safety?
Yeah.
And Tony goes, 70 grand? 70 grand? What are you going to get for 70 grand? Oh, high school maths teacher?
Yeah. I mean, that's it right there. That's easily the best line. Oh, well, not easily the best line. It's the best line amongst many good lines. But, oh, wow. That's just so brilliant.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Jeff, what do you think?
Well, look,
Have I done enough to convince you?
Yeah, you have done enough to convince me, and normally that's where we end the episode by saying, yes, let's put it into the Hall of Fame. And I don't know how we're going on time here, so let's take that as read.
Right.
Because there's not much I can fault in there, you know what I mean? And as I mentioned, it's not my type of show, but it's actually really good. I mean, it's brilliantly well observed. There's actual jokes in it. There's nothing there that really marks it down.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's restoring my faith in Australian sitcoms.
Oh, we got one through the goals for Australia.
Yeah. Awesome. What are the odds?
Don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen that many times.
Possibly not. No, it's very pleasing.
Yes. All right. Thanks, Jeff.
No worries. Thank you.
That was fun.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll be back next time with something that may or may not be Australian.
Probably not.
All right. Cheers.
See ya.
Join us next time on Sitcom Showdown when we'll be putting another 5-star episode under the microscope. And in the meantime, you can contact us with feedback on Facebook, Twitter @Sitcom Showdown, or by email sitcomshowdown@gmail.com.